Getting back a little bit to the branding question, I think we all kind of agree and recognize that as the national economy recovers, we're pretty well positioned to take advantage and benefit from that, and chances are there's going to be a pretty big influx of money and growth resuming to the community. And my question is, with that happening, I think there's a real potential of developing a real kind of elite image for our community, similar to like a Beverly Hills or a Hamptons or that kind of thing. And my question is this a good thing or a bad thing? Do we need to be concerned about that? Do we need to try to counter that? Or is that something that we should try to use to push our branding image forward?
Run with it. Run like the wind. Take that momentum and that leverage that comes out of that and drive the intellectual capital base. You know, if you look back, the history of Wilmington, I don't recall, but I think we had a $100 million bond offering in 82 or 84, Woody, somewhere around there, that didn't pass. Don't let that same similar thing happen. If that comes out of this economy, I think this is the perfect time why things are down for us to make as much ground as possible. And if the money comes, the intellectual juice comes, you run where you have the momentum. Try to create some easy hurdles, some easy wins. Maybe try to coalesce around some of the things Melanie had talked about, things that we can all get our arms around in terms of priorities, not the ones that become personal because those are harder to get through, and leverage it.
I interpreted the question slightly different. I think this town should be trying to go after and should absorb any resources that come this direction and should be prepared to hit the ground running, prepared to spend the money, to expend the intellectual capital, and to take every advantage. But as far as turning Wilmington or directing Wilmington to a community that would mirror the Hamptons or mirror Beverly Hills, when I say upscale, I don't mean upscale in the sense that it's perceived that we exclude or would exclude people based on any component of their human element. There's a lot of talk about technology, but I think one of the things that Wilmington has that's great, one of its greatest, if not its greatest strength, are the people, the actual human beings who live in this community. And I think one should not lose sight of that. And the human element is obviously going to involve people who are at different economic levels, as been the history of Wilmington. This is a town that was built on the backbone of many people, people of different colors, people of different backgrounds, immigrants coming to this community. And I think to ignore that and say we're going to focus on trying to create ourselves as the Hamptons, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, quite frankly. I think what we need to do is focus on how do we include, how do we take the political clout that we can build as a community, not the minute political clout that a small percentage of the population with economic capabilities above a certain level can wield. If part of what is drawing is the university, we have bright young students here who we want to stay in the community, but we want them to stay in the community not solely because they can surf, but because they see a political future for themselves. They want to be part of the move and the drive towards creating a political base in southeastern North Carolina. We want to follow along the path of Savannah and Charleston, but we also want to cut our own path. We want to be artistic. We want to draw cultural elements. We want to maintain those that we have, but a brand is something that makes us distinct from other communities. Sort of circling back to the political discussion, I want to kind of address the commissioner's question when he says, what can we do as political leaders to ensure that we're addressing the needs of the community and work in conjunction with each other? And when the question is put on the table, there's plenty that can be done, plenty that we as citizens can do to help facilitate that process. I agree. When people sat and heard Mayor Riley, they recognized that he's been the mayor of that community for decades. And you cannot ignore the fact that one consistent political hand guiding a city is going to make it significantly easier. We're not, however, going to be able to flip a switch in Raleigh and get them to change the form of government so that instead of having a mayor that basically serves at the will and demand of the people for virtually no recognition or compensation, and have someone whose job it is. I don't think we should turn away from trying to move towards getting an elected official who's a paid official. But I do also believe that as members of the community, we need to reach out to them wherever we see them. Okay, why is it that we don't have a coordinated or a consolidated planning department? Why is it that when you come into this community, you have to deal with this level, this level, and that level? We need to recognize when they're moving in a direction, which the city has done, that says, look, stormwater, an issue that may go over most people's heads, but it is a focused issue, it's a critical environmental issue, and the city has taken steps to say, okay, we're going to take on the delegated authority so that we can review these permits and we can make sound and quick decisions. But it all circles back to money. We talk infrastructure, we talk roadways, we talk environmental protection, but when it comes to the rubber hitting the road or the pennies coming out of the pocket, that's kind of where the discussion starts. So one thing I think the city and the county can do is identify 2 or 3 key issues. We both agree that this is an objective we want to hit. We want to sit down and figure out this is how much it's going to cost, this is how much we can pony up, how can we figure out as a community how to fund the rest of it.